You know those days where everything feels totally normal until it's not? Earlier this week, the herd was out playing in the field when Rooster took a kick. Nothing unusual, just horses being horses. But this one landed right on his elbow. So wait, don't get with me. Oh no. Don't collide. We flushed it, treated it, watched it closely, and the swelling even went down. Until yesterday. By midday, it was creeping back, and within hours, Rooster was limping and his elbow was hot and tender. That's when you drop everything because infection is nothing to mess around with. We don't have kids. Our dogs and our equines are our family, so when one of them is hurting, we take it seriously. I called the vet right away, and thankfully they fit us in for an emergency visit. Because last night, Rooster's leg was starting to get so tender that he didn't even want to lift it. To avoid Rooster being pushed around by the others, we moved him into his own space. I'm so thankful for all of my equines, and I love them all very much, but Rooster really does hold a special place in my heart. I tend to carry a lot of empathy and am sensitive to others' emotions, so seeing my boy in pain was really hard for me to stomach. Horse kick wounds carry a high risk of infection since horse hooves are very unsterile. Even though I did my best to flush and clean his wound right away, I just hadn't gotten all of that foreign material out of it. And with the wound being so small and sealing up, the infection was now trapped and causing a lot of pain and pressure. I hadn't suspected a fracture at first, but with how lame Rooster was at this point, I started to worry one might be present. The other concern is the sequestrum, which is a dead spot of bone. This can be caused by trauma or infection, and the body treats it like a foreign object. Sequestrums need to be surgically removed. Good boy. You're so good. Is that scary? Yeah, I won't get you with it. Just for your water. In there. I'm so sorry, buddy. I'll get you feeling better, okay? I'll get you feeling better. Yeah, because you saw pizza. With Rooster all settled in his own pen, with plenty of food and water, it was time for a sleepless night, but we'll head to the vet in the morning. Crazy.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I don't know how well you can see me, but I'm gonna haul Mr. Rooster into the vet. So they'll get him in this morning, and then it sounds like since they're fitting him in between appointments for me today, we'll just leave him in the stall, and then the vet will get to him whenever he has time today. He'll just kind of check on him in between appointments, and then when he has a moment to do the full x-rays and stuff like that, then he'll get to him. So I'm really thankful they are kind of treating this as an emergency call and getting him in for us, so that's super nice of them. No. I know. Oh my God. We'll back up at the vet's office so you don't have to walk very far. Gosh, he's so sore on it. It's so crazy how it went from him being okay to all of a sudden just can't even use his leg. probably can't see us very good, but got Rooster all loaded in the trailer. He did really good. His leg is so sore. Definitely infected. So I'm gonna take him in. I'm gonna ask him to do x-rays. If they have the time, just to double check on that and make sure there's no fractures on his little elbow bone. But yeah, get him on some antibiotics. I'm sure they'll give him a tetanus booster. I can go ahead and just do his coggins and everything right now while he's in there, and I'm sure they'll sedate him to clean out his wound really well, so just get all that stuff done. So anyway, headed to the vets. Gonna drop him off and they'll just work him in as they have time. So he'll probably spend most of the day at the vet's office today, I'm guessing.
Anxious to get him back. It's always, whenever you have a horse that's injured, it just feels like the end of the world. And usually it's not, but it's still kind of scary watching them limp like that. So anxious to hear what they find out.
Especially since like Mesa got hurt, and you know, even the vet was like, oh, it's probably just an abscess, and then it turned out to be a fractured coffin bone. So it's like, I don't know, you hope for the best, but you're always like a little bit expecting the worst case. So I think that's why we'll just go ahead and see if they'll do x-rays today, just to have peace of mind for me anyway. So we'll go check in real quick before we unload it now. This part's going on. I should back them out. Them out. That might be so. Yeah, look how small that is when they come out. Like you can see it from the front. Crazy. Ready? This is Rooster's first time at a vet clinic, and it's quite the doozy of a trip for him. The vet's gonna have us put him back here in this big open pen, and then he'll work him in as he has time. There's stocks on the inner part of their vet clinic, and they'll put him in those, sedate him, x-ray him. I'm not sure if they'll end up putting a drain tube in or what their plan's going to be for all of that infection, but they'll definitely flush the wound back out and try to get rid of whatever is causing that infection. Don't leave me. When they told me that I would just leave him here and that they were going to handle him, I was a little bit nervous at first. Mustangs tend to have stranger danger, and since he hasn't really been handled by anyone else, I was a little bit leery of the idea, but we don't really have another option, and I think I've done a good enough job that he's going to be really good for them. This always sucks, leaving him here. Okay, I'm not gonna be able to eat today. Sleep last night. I'm fine, this is fine. I hate this. I hate when your horses are hurt.
All right, well, we got our buddy Rooster dropped off at the vet, and now all we can do as far as that's concerned is just wait and hear what the vet has to say, and hopefully they'll do some x-rays and get him whatever he needs to be on the right track. But while we're waiting to hear back from the vet, we're gonna knock out our pre-winter chores. It's starting to snow a little bit right now, and we got some stuff we want to do before we get totally covered up in snow for the year and get crazy freezing temps. So we're gonna start working on some chores, try to keep our minds busy while we're busy thinking about Rooster and worrying about him. We're gonna at least be productive while we wait. So here we go. one thing that has been fun is watching Clyde and Taz bond. Those two are like long lost brothers. They have very similar mentalities, and it's funny they've buddied up, and they're like long lost half brothers. So it's been kind of fun watching them become buddies. They're cool. They're also our two tallest, and they're kind of like inverse color. Clyde has just a little bit of buckskin on him, and then Taz is mostly buckskin with a little white on him. But our 3 goals for today are, we need to take down our electric fence in our pasture back here, because then we'll be able to turn everyone out back there on this whole pasture, and they can eat down all that yellow grass you see. So we're going to take down the electric fence, and then after we're done with that, we're going to put the sprinklers all in a pile and make sure they're all drained so we don't break any pipes this winter. And then the last thing we need to do as far as chores go is we need to fix the fence. Where Rooster got out earlier this year, he jumped over our bucking rail and got in the neighbor's field. So to get him back, we had to cut the neighbor's fence. So we're going to fix that, and then we're going to end the day by riding Taz. And hopefully by that point, we'll have an update on Rooster and kind of have a game plan as far as that goes. So gonna make the most of the day. We're thinking about Rooster, and hopefully we get some good news back from the vet soon. All right, we just got some good news. We were hopped in the car and pulling out the driveway to go to the feed store to get a little reel to roll up our electric fence, and got a call from the vet saying Rooster is ready. So we're hopping in the truck now and gonna go pick him up and get the update. She said that the vet tech lady will have an update for us when we get there. So it's good news that he's done fast. Hopefully it's a good news update as well.
I know. I'm excited. We gotta go get him. And it's so early, I don't even have to stress all day, hopefully. Okay. Rooster was in the stocks when we got there. We'll show you what they ended up doing, but here's a warning. This is going to be extremely graphic, so close your eyes right now if you don't want to see. Because there was so much blood, I am going to black and white it just so it's not as graphic for all you guys. They did put a drain tube in his elbow. Thankfully, the x-rays came back clean. He didn't have any fractures or sequestrums, at least not at this point. They did go ahead and put that drain tube in though, because it was going to be extremely hard for that tiny little wound to stay open enough to drain out all that infection. If you closed your eyes, it's safe to look through your fingers at this point. You'll still be able to see some of the drainage on his leg, so just be warned. Rooster is still pretty drowsy from the sedatives, but we are going to make it over to the trailer and get him loaded up if he can make it up into there. After a quick potty break, he was ready to head home. I'm sure thankful for our new trailer, but we still use this old one at times when we need to just haul to a local place. Eventually we'll get a different stock trailer than this one. As you can see, one of our dividers has broken, so I think we'll just take all these dividers out and use it as a stock trailer for now. A newer stock type trailer is definitely on our list of things to get. Thankfully, Rooster is such a good horse, and I've got to spend a ton of time with him at this point. The vet said he did absolutely wonderful and was quite the gentleman. They had no trouble with him. He loads right up even though he's drowsy. They did give him some painkillers and some anti-inflammatories, as well as a dose of a 7-day antibiotic. If he needs more, we'll haul him back in for another dose of that. Good job, big guy.
Good boy, bud. Get you home and get you all set up.
Well, we got Rooster all loaded up. The vet said he did really, really good for him. They weren't sure when they were going to work on him, so it wasn't something that we could be there to help him out. So, of course, I was a little nervous. Sometimes Mustangs have some stranger danger. But anyway, he did really well, they said, and we got his coggins all done up while he was in there too. But anyway, they took some x-rays. Everything looked good on the x-rays. What they think it is just a severely bruised bursa on his elbow. So they did go ahead and put in drain tubes. They gave him some antibiotics. Those are good for 7 days. They didn't think he would need any more after that, probably, but that drain tube is actually going to stay in there for like 2 weeks. So we'll have to go back in and get it pulled out at that point. So.
All right, so the next thing we'll do, we got to swing by our local feed store. We're going to get some shavings for Rooster, and we'll kind of show you what we do when we have to set one up in a pen by themselves. So we got to get chicken feed and a new extension cord and stuff like that anyway, but now we'll get some shavings and make sure we get Rooster all set up real good in a pen by himself but next to the others.
Okay, I'm gonna turn around. The edge is still really poking a little. Good.
All right, we'll kind of show you our little setup here that we have for Rooster. He's gonna be by himself in like the back corner of our dry lot, and he'll have the back pasture to himself once we want him to be moving a little more. So we got the crew in the normal dry lot here: Riata, Taz, Josey, Clyde, and Mesa. And then back here we have Rooster's very own private suite. It's nice because he's still got his buddies right here, but they can't horse around and kick at each other and stuff like that. So it should be the ideal setup. We're gonna clean it up and then put down some shavings and get him all set up for the life of luxury back here in his very own pen.
You're so good. Okay, I'm gonna get right by your foot, okay? Good job. One more. Try not to bump you. One more. Good job. He's like, wait, on my hay. You're taking it. Put your feet on it. Let's get you some better fresh hay. With no, yeah, no pee on there.
So now that we got Mr. Rooster back so early in the day, our vet is the best, by the way. We are so thankful for them. But now that we got him back so early in the day, what we'll probably do is we'll just show you how we're gonna set up Rooster's private suite here for the next, I don't know how long, week or so at least, till he gets his drain tube out. Then we'll knock out the chores that I was talking about earlier, fix up our pasture, fix our neighbor's fence, and then hopefully we can beat daylight and we'll have time to ride Taz. It's good to work with them multiple days in a row and just kind of keep things flowing with them. So if we can get all this stuff done, we'll work with Taz in the round pen tonight before it gets dark.
I thought they shaved all the way down his legs, but it's just, she just smeared so much Vaseline it looked like it was shaved. So he still has his feathers, which I'm really excited about because I was really sad that they shaved those off. It's just up by his little elbow that they shaved. Aww.
We'll show you his little wound and what they did here. So trigger warning.
Graphic content warning.
There's the drain tube.
Don't touch it.
And his big swollen elbow. And then they rubbed Vaseline all the way down so it doesn't become a matted mess. Kind of grotesque looking. Honestly, we're just thankful that he is for sure going to be okay. We're still sad that he's in a little pain right now, but really relieved. They did x-rays and there's no broken bones or anything that's not going to heal okay. So that's a pretty big relief.
Yes. That was a concern that he had a bone chip maybe that was, had died back and caused infection, or there was infection in the joint that could be really, really bad. So this is like best outcome, even though it looks gnarly, but good boy. And he was so good for the vet, they said. He did really, really good. So I'm really proud of him, because that's like the first time he's ever been handled by complete strangers. So good job, buddy. And now he's all up to date on his coggins too, so he needed to do that anyway, and there you go, I guess. Gotta find some positives out of a negative, right? Good boy. He's all sweaty because of this. They gave him some sedatives to, obviously, when they put that little drain tube in. So coming off of that, a lot of times they'll really sweat a lot, and that's why he's all sweaty. Now he's itchy because he's all sweaty. Oh, poor boy. Makes me sad. I do not like seeing him in pain. Hurts my heart. Those flat tires. I know, look at those tires. Always flat. Next to your water.
So now we have Rooster's kitchen and dining room set up over here on this side, and he has a nice view out this way and all his buddies over in that pen. And now we're gonna set up his bedroom right here so he can sleep next to his friends.
Yeah. Get you some hay and some shavings. You'll be good to go, you itchy. Oh, you're so itchy. Go touch sweaty forehead, buddy. What a rough morning, huh? Poor guy. You did so good, though. Yeah. Little ear massage. Sides of your ears scratched. Oh, yes. Goodbye. Give him lots of grass hay so he can just stay in the munch and not mess around too much. Keep him distracted. Farmer's carry. That's why we train at the gym. So we can carry sawdust bags. Snort. Snort, snort. Good boy.
All right, we got all kinds of stuff to get set up for winter from our little local feed store. But first, Alyssa has something fun. She couldn't resist and she bought something, I think online, that she's wanted for a long time. So we're gonna get it set up and see how the herd likes it. Alyssa's excited at least. They don't even know what they're in for yet. Yeah, put in the one eternity later. Put it to Cotton Eye Joe with you doing your foot like that. I wish we could. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Oh no. What are you supposed to put on before you blow it up?
Yeah.
Oh, crud.
I think so. Maybe someone should have looked at that thing. Certainly not me. To realize that the opening was so small before we blew the ball up. Go. Ready?
All right. Well, while those guys are getting used to their new toy, Mesa is really taking a liking to it. She's starting to play with it a little bit. We're going to start working on getting our pasture ready for the winter. So the first step is going to be taking down all the wire. We had this front pasture turned into 3 pastures for rotational grazing. Works really good, but in the winter, it's nice to just open up that whole space and let them have the whole combined 3 pasture area to kind of move around and munch around during the wintertime and kind of nip off the tops of this mature grass that they don't eat as much in the summertime. So we're going to take down some fence and hopefully we can get done with all our chores in time to ride Taz before it gets dark.
What's he doing? He's like, I don't know. Hey, squirrel. You helping me, buddy? Yeah. You're such a good helper. All right, lead the way. Let's go. Good boy. Take this deal apart. I don't know if those are hand tight. Nope.
This is so much better than putting it on like a little rebar stick or something like that. And it's going to be even better next spring when we put it back out.
Yes. While Jason was busy rolling wire, I couldn't help but get distracted by Taz and Clyde playing together. It's good to see that Taz has a buddy. Him and Clyde are pretty similar. They even play the same.
We need to introduce you. This is our neighbor. His name is Munch. He is a red roan gelding. I think he's like retirement age. He's definitely retired regardless of what age he is. But he got his name Munch because he likes to stand in the pasture and eat all the time. So there you go. That's our favorite neighbor. We talk to him more than the rest of our neighbors. Actually, all jokes aside, this little neighborhood that we live in is just awesome. Munch's owners are our next door neighbors, and they're just the nicest people. But we always enjoy seeing Munch. He always is standing by the driveway. He doesn't have a buddy in that pasture, so our little herd is kind of his buddies. So he stands in his pasture and looks over into our pen and talks to his friends. We had to switch jobs. I'm the tension holder now, because I have a jacket that won't get a hole burned in it. And if it does, it doesn't matter as much as Alyssa's nice jacket. We're gaining on her. This is actually really exciting. We've been wanting to do this for weeks. We just kept putting it off and getting busy. But we'll get to put the sprinklers up, and then the horses and mules can start using this pasture. What's next?
Hey, come on. Get it, go. Sprinklers. We'll pick all those up. All our irrigation lines. Hi, guys.
Good. That is bad. That's how you break your pipes.
You like ice? Is that fun? Oh, I think that's fun.
Carl.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, what is it? Is that fun? Run, squirrel! Run! Oh, there's a chance. He's just like a mop.
So for those of you who are interested in how irrigation works, how our system works is there's a reservoir way up there by those snowy peaks, and it's piped or ditched all the way down out of the mountains down to many fields along the way. But our riser is over there past a stack of sprinklers. So all we have to do is we turn on our riser, and it runs from there down our main line, which runs under our fence, all the way along the back of our property. And then they have these other little secondary risers here that come off of our main line, And you unscrew those and it lifts up that little rubber gasket, and then gravity coming from the mountain down here pushes it out into our pasture. I think there's probably most irrigated pastures run off of an irrigation well, which is very different than ours. Like those big pivots and stuff, a lot of times they'll be fed out of a well. The big pivots are the round ones. But that's how ours work. It's pretty awesome. It's like there's no pump to mess around with or anything, just gravity fed. Just turn on the riser at the road, turn on the riser in the correct pasture, and then boom, we got water going. You can definitely see why there were so many wars and battles fought over water in the West, because it is sure nice to have it. This property would be a dust bowl with this many equines if we didn't have water rights. And instead, with our water rights, we can run a little rotational grazing, and these guys get green grass all through the summer. This sprinkler line is our odd man. This one we bought new when we moved here, and it's called K-line. It has these little pods with a little guard on it with the sprinkler in there, and they work great when you have guys like that who are little pills. They paw things and run around and break stuff. So this actually works really good if you have horses. We're not sponsored, but it's K-line and we really like it. I also feel like the K-line is actually a little more efficient just in the way it waters. It has a really big radius, and instead of shooting out like big water droplets, it's more of like a mist, but it still goes far. So I don't know, I feel like it's a little more efficient when it comes to water use. Plus it's good for with the horses. Oh gosh, the grass is growing all around it. The grass is growing up around this and it makes it really hard to move. What we're gonna do is hang this up on top of our bucking rail and let it kind of drain out. And then we'll be good to go for the winter. There we go, sprinklers are done for the year. Probably be about next, May when we get to set them back up and get water back on this, but we're sure thankful for this little property.
Oh, gosh. Get down. You know better. Oh, roll them. It's a good thing squirrels made of rubber.
All right, we'll get this fence buttoned back up, and then after that, hopefully, if there's enough daylight, we're gonna work with Ty from TS Mules, who we talk about all the time because we get to spend a lot of time with him. But he talks about how it's best if you can work with your equines in like at least 3-day segments. So work with them 3 days in a row. It kind of helps things stick for you better and for your equine better. So that's a rule that we try to stick to as best we can. And today will be day number 3 with Tazzy.
Mason says Café Mule coffee is the best. You should try it. Mmm, yum. Fine, do you like coffee? This is too late for caffeine. Oh. What are you doing, Misty? Dude. Which is, oh, you're so close, buddy. Oh, Mesa. Don't be so rude. Oh gosh. was with her mouth open. Oh, geez. Hi, ma'am. What's that? Do you need some ear scratches? Yes.
Fixing some fence where old Rooster jumped out. You probably remember from the video, he jumped out right there, went into that pasture, and there's a cattle guard up there, so we had to cut the neighbor's fence to get him in.
Yep.
That was several months back, and we're finally getting around to repairing it, but there hasn't been any animals in here.
No.
But it feels good to be knocking it out. You've probably heard the phrase, putting lipstick on a pig. Well, that's kind of what this process is like. Our buck and rail is on the inside of the property line, and this fence that's on the outside of the property line is just all rotted off at the ground and fallen over. Bale and twine, which is one of my biggest pet peeves, but we're just trying to make it horse proof so our neighbors can get their mules out here. But definitely putting lipstick on a pig. All right, well, we got the fence all buttoned up, which feels really good. That's one of those things that's just been kind of lingering on our to-do list, and it kept getting bumped down, but got her done today. And now we're gonna work with Taz a little bit. I think the main goal for today is to catch old Tazzy and take him away from the herd and just kind of take him up to the round pen and just work with him and start to build that confidence when he's off on his own. So that's a plan. Alyssa's gonna catch Taz and do a little session with him.
Go ahead, you got it. Either way, keep going. Yeah, good boy. And all by your little one. Are you okay with that? Are you nervous about it? Yeah, braid your little mane. I said we weren't going to get any more light colored horses because they're so hard to keep clean, but here we are. Another light colored horse that likes to be kind of a pig pen. Him and Clyde are such good buddies, which is so funny because they're so very similar to one another, and they're the ones that hang out all the time. They were wrestling around today. Like, don't hurt each other. They're just playing, but they're kind of rough. Sometimes I worry. We had one horse at the vet already today, no more.
I'm so relieved that Rooster is on track now.
Yeah, and like we can keep an eye on him, and I think if it, takes a turn or whatever, they'll probably make an exception to get him back in before the next appointment. So that's good to know. Easy. Since Taz has so much anxiety away from the herd, tonight we just want to make it a positive experience for him up here. I'm not going to ask a whole lot of him. I just want him to find comfort even if we're up in the corral by ourselves. It's always hard when you get horses like Taz because I wasn't a fly on the wall during his training, but from what I've gathered from him, it sure seems like his trainer back when he was colt started probably did a lot of drills and didn't give him a ton of time just to chill and relax. Already he's starting to come down off of his anxiety. You can tell by the way he's licking and chewing. So this is exactly what he needed. We are going to work on a few basics like backing up softly. Now, Taz knows how to do a lot of this stuff, but part of the problem is I'm going to ask him in a different way. He's been trained a lot with Clinton Anderson methods, which I don't really use a whole lot of. So part of it is he just has to sort out what I'm asking versus what he's learned in the past. I'm going to treat him like I would a colt who just doesn't know anything and reward the slightest try. Him taking one step back was all I needed from him. I definitely want to make sure he's not ever worried about this flag, so I like to start off just petting him with it, getting him used to that motion. He's doing really good differentiating between if I'm asking him to go out on a circle and if I'm just rubbing him down with a flag. So that's good that we've kind of got a baseline established. He's being a lot more responsive now than he was the first day, which is to be very expected. We've also been working a ton on rolling the hinds. He's doing better at not crowding me while he's doing this. The first day he just wanted to run me over with his front end because he wasn't stepping out and around with that front leg. So he's really got a lot better at this maneuver as well. We're just going to do a little bit of some slow groundwork and try to make it quality. Gosh, it's rolling the hinds with this gun so much better. He's a little iffy with big movements of this flag around his head, so I'm going to work on that every day as well. Overall, I'm really impressed with this horse and how unflappable he is with a lot of stuff. You can definitely tell that Mary spent a ton of time with him. He did a lot better with bridling tonight. He's been really wanting to rub on me, and he didn't do that nearly as much this evening, so that's been a lot nicer for me. For some reason, tonight I could hear the neighbors talking pretty loudly. Usually we can't hear them, but as they were talking loudly and loading stock into their trailer, there was also a FedEx truck that drove by back behind us, and all that commotion got Taz a little bit rattled. I'm okay if his anxiety goes up. What I'm really looking for is how quickly can it come back down. As I'm trying to adjust my stirrups, since Jason was the last one to ride in this saddle and he rides with a shorter stirrup, it was pretty interesting to see how Taz really couldn't even hold his feet still for me to adjust the stirrup down a couple notches. When he does get worked up, he really needs to move his feet, so I'm letting him just do that in a constructive manner by rolling the hinds a whole bunch. Eventually someday he'll learn just to stand still, even if he's a little bit nervous, but for now it's almost too much for him and he can't control himself. That's okay, we'll help him work through all that stuff. We've been working on standing still to mount, and he does a pretty good job tonight. I'm going to work on just standing here and bending in both directions. I think Taz is pretty used to someone getting on and then just riding off right away, so I'm going to do the opposite. As soon as I get on, I'm going to bend him a little bit if he's wanting to walk off, and when he relaxes, we're just going to sit here. I'm just going to give him some pets and tell him he's a good boy. I don't want him thinking every time someone's butt hits a saddle that it means he needs to walk off and start going. I get off and on a few times just to work on him standing still to mount. If he goes to move off, then I'm just going to bend him to a stop. If that doesn't work, I would roll his hinds and then bend him to a stop. And make sure he's all squared up and is ready for me to step on. He's doing so much better with this tonight. You can see he's a little anxious as soon as I hit the saddle, but he's not walking off. We're not going to show a ton of this session because it was pretty boring to watch. I literally just sat on him a ton this session. We worked on rolling the hinds while I was up in the saddle, and then we would just sit there for quite a while. I just wanted to move his feet enough that he got a little bit of anxiety, and then we just sit here and let that all come down. What I was looking for was him to have a big release, yawn, lick and chew, and finally at the end here it happened. This is big for him because he's far away from all of his herd mates, and he really does not like to be alone. All I was looking for tonight was for him to relax up here by himself. So as soon as he did that, I'm going to step off and end the session here. As soon as I step off, he really starts going through a lot of stuff. When horses start licking, chewing, and even yawning, a lot of people think those behaviors automatically mean a horse is relaxed, but what's actually happening is even more interesting. When a horse goes from feeling a little tension to processing and releasing that tension, their nervous system shifts and it triggers a small wave of dopamine. That dopamine release shows up as those classic signs: licking, chewing, blowing, yawning, even soft blinking. It's a horse's way of saying, okay, I'm thinking, I'm letting down, I'm working through this. It's less about them being instantly calm and more about their brain switching out of stress mode and back into a learning state. It's such a cool window into what's going on inside their head. That was a big step for him in the right direction, even though it was like we weren't doing much. It didn't take much. We were working on his mental abilities tonight, not anything really physical. It was a little particular on how I wanted him to roll the hinds, and we worked on standing still to mount, which is all that issue of like standing still to mount. That's all just anxiety up here, so this is really, really good. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. We're just gonna do little sessions like this so that he feels happy away from the herd, and this is how we're gonna work on his herd boundness, just slow little chunks at a time. But we'll keep you guys updated on Rooster. We'll post frequent updates on him and how he's healing up, and we'll keep posting updates on Taz Boy as well as all the others. So if you like what you see, go ahead and hit subscribe, and we'll be posting lots more like it. Good job, buddy.